I was working 9 to 5, broke and stressed out. Now I run my own lash business, teaching other women how to do the same thing. Here's how it all started, y'all. Let's get right into it. So for everyone who are just now tuning into my channel, my name is Ashley Meeks. I am a lash educator, lash tech, lash supplier, and I teach other people how to start, build, and grow their own lash business. So I want to give y'all a backstory on how I actually started my lash business. So for all you guys are wondering, this is going to be a story time of how I got into the lash industry. So the backstory is when I got into the lash industry, let's rewind it all the way back to 2016 because that's when I started doing lashes. So in 2016, y'all, I was a college student. I was actually going to school for marketing. I got my degree in marketing, but when I was a freshman in college, that's when I started doing lashes. So my last job ever, y'all, was working at Family Dollar. I was making $8.50 an hour, which is not a lot of money at the time. So 2016, lash extension wasn't really popping how it is right now. So I kind of had an advantage of like getting started back then. So when I was actually looking around for like lash classes and things like that, I didn't really find anyone teaching lashes like that. So I had seen this girl, she was coming from out another state and whatnot. She was gonna teach me. So she was charging $750. And I was like, okay, but I didn't have that money at the time. So I decided to ask my parents. They didn't have the money, y'all. So I was like, was so determined. I was literally, y'all, so determined to actually get into the lash business because when I was in my dorm room, something came over me, y'all. I don't even know what it is, but something came over me and just told me to do lashes because I was actually making like a vision board. I'm gonna put the vision board right here so that y'all can see that I did in my dorm room. But I was making a vision board, and in the middle I put the word boss because I always wanted to be my own boss. I already knew from jump that I could not work in no corporate America. I could not work in no 9 to 5. That's just something I couldn't do for myself. Like I wanted more for Ashley. You know, I decided as my parents, they didn't have the money at the time. So I was like, I put $750 divided by how many weeks I had to the lash class. And that's how much money I was having to put aside. Each week I got paid from Family Dollar. I was doing that, just putting money to the side. And before you know it, y'all, when that class came, I had the $750. So when I took the class or whatnot, it was cool, you know. I didn't really get hands-on. I had hands-on training, but I didn't really get help on like the terminology or, you know, different things about lashes. Like I was just taught how to do it. That was it. So when you obviously are trying to get into the lash industry, y'all, it's a lot that actually goes into lashing. It just instead of showing somebody how to do lashes right off rip, I felt like I wasn't really properly trained for real. So, you know, I steady went on. You know, I didn't let that stop me. So I had to kind of self-educate myself on a lot of things when it came to doing lash extensions. But again, y'all, I was so discouraged at first because I had in the back of my mind that lash extensions were gonna really change my life, which it did, you know. But I had in the back of my mind that I was gonna get so rich off lashes. But when you actually be so excited for something and then you turn around, you don't get really the right training or anything like that, it can be a little discouraging. Backstory is I started doing lashes in 2016. I was 20 years old, and again, Family Dollar was my last job ever. So kind of started as a freshman in college, y'all, and I've been doing lashes ever since. So that's the whole backstory of me actually getting into lashes. Now, some of the struggles I had to deal with when I actually wanted to get into lashes was me like not having enough money to pay for the class, just not knowing where to go. Because actually, y'all, I was actually on YouTube University trying to learn how to do lash extensions because 2016, like I told y'all, it was not popping how it is right now. So I was really on YouTube University trying to look at how to do lash extensions and things like that. And I ended up going to Target, got some little clustered a little clustered lash kit and the glue and things like that. I did it all wrong. So that's why I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to actually invest into a lash class because I'm gonna need actually training on this because I don't know what to do, you know. So that was kind of like my little struggle back then, was just me trying to come up with the money for the class and not knowing where to start. And that was kind of the struggle because again, Family Dollar, y'all, I'm making $8.50. That is not a lot of money. So I just wanted something that I can get ahead in life with, and lashes was that calling for me. So that's the backstory. That's my whole struggle of how I actually got started. So now what made me like get into lashes and what made me like, how did I discover it? I don't really remember, y'all. But when I actually got into the lashes, like I said, y'all, it was not a lot of people doing lashes like that for real. I really feel like I'm the one who kind of put lash extensions out there on the map for a lot of girls out there. Cause yeah, I just feel like I was the person who actually started the lash thing out here in Atlanta. But that's a whole nother story. I just always wanted something more for myself. So when I was working at Family Dollar, I used to be at the cash register. I was a person who used to stock shelves, and I was the cashier. So, you know, I was staying with my grandma at the time, so it was kind of like in the hood or whatnot. I just used to have like these visions while I was at work, like me doing lashes or just me working on clients, me being my own boss, things like that. I just knew y'all, lashes was the thing that was gonna kind of like save me in a way, but I didn't know how I was gonna get the money, and I just did it. And y'all, again, like I started my lash business with $750. That's what I invested in to actually become my own boss, to be where I'm at today. What my experience like with my first lash training class was, you know, we got a kit and whatnot. It was me. It was like a little small group, so it was just me and like 3 other girls in the class. But my experience, like, it was cool. Like I told you guys, like, she didn't really go over the knowledge of lashes. She just really showed us how to do it, and then we just practiced our skills from there. So that's how the training was. Like, she just really showed us how to actually isolate, place, and then you have to just practice on mannequin head. But as far as going to details like lash mapping, diameters, curls, things like that, we didn't really go over that. So that's what I'm saying, guys. Like, I really had to self-educate myself on a lot of stuff when it came to actually learning lashes, because the first class, y'all, the first one you will ever take, I really feel like you cannot learn everything in one lash class. Overall, like, it wasn't a bad class, but it just, if I was going to spend $750, I should have gotten a lot more helpful knowledge on actually like lashes in general as a whole, instead of just learning how to do it, you know. So that was the only thing about that training class. So when I actually was starting like the practice and stuff like that, my first time ever doing lashes, y'all, I was struggling. So when you're actually doing lashes, ladies, you have to use both of your hands at the same time. I am right-handed, so I had to kind of learn how to work with my left hand. I used to struggle so bad with that. So I used to struggle. Like, I was not always good at doing lashes like I am right now. So that's why I'm be like, I know everything. Like, I know the process of a beginner is going through. I know everything that somebody is going through as a lash tech, because I went through that. The more I did it, y'all, the easier it got. And I was like, oh, okay, I can really do this. Like, it's not really hard, but it's definitely going to take practice. So if you're going to just sit there and be inconsistent with the practicing, most definitely you are going to be struggling as a lash tech. Over time, I got better and better and better. So I learned classic first, and then I had to learn volume afterwards. And then, like, learning 2 different techniques at different times it's crazy. But when I actually got into learning how to do volume, it took me 6 months, literally, y'all, 6 months to actually get the technique down pat when it came to volume. So I honestly, the way I train now is the way I wish I was mentored. So now I teach girls how to do everything in one, because instead of you just learning one technique first and then you going back and learning the other one, I normally do it together now, because again, I do feel like if you learn everything all in one, you'll be a lot more confident in your abilities as a lash tech, instead of just learning one thing and have to turn around and do another training like on something else when you could have just did it all in one. Now, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, that I did have some self-doubt in myself and things like that, but you have to overcome that. Like, you're gonna be in your head about a lot of things, y'all, and sometimes, like, the little voices that be in your head, it don't be true. So you just have to, like, just work through those self-doubts, just work through those moments where you do feel like you want to give up or anything, like, or something like that. Like, I legit have to work through that. So there were times where I just felt like, okay, I want to just give up. Maybe it's not, this really not meant for me, like, you know. But again, y'all, I kept being consistent. I kept being consistent, because I already knew from 2016 when I had that vision, something told me that lash is going to change my life, y'all, and I've been doing it ever since. So I'm so happy that I actually stuck through it with myself and in my business itself. But yeah, every person's going to have self-doubt in their abilities. When I first got into the class, I still had self-doubt. Like, am I really going to be able to do this? Like, you know, like, this is a whole new skill that I'm about to learn. Like, I was self-doubting myself, I'm not gonna lie. So, but you gotta push past that. So that's the only thing with that. Just push past that. Don't compare yourself, and don't be looking and seeing what other people got going on. It's okay to actually like look and see what they are doing, but to sit there and compare yourself and feel like you can't do that. Lashes is what changed my life, y'all, and lashes is very easy when you actually sit down and practice and perfect your craft. So if you out here messing with the lashes, it's going to be a hard time for you to actually build a good business off that, because don't nobody want to mess up lashes. So I always tell myself that I always wanted to do natural looking lashes, which I'm doing it right now. And then I always told myself, like, I'm going to be charging my worth in the lash industry. Like, I was going to be affordable, but I definitely know that I was going to actually become a person who have something, who specializes in something, because I didn't want to be a person who kind of sacked the lashes. Like, I really just wanted to enhance my girls, my client lash extensions, like they lashes. I really wanted that. Okay, so when I had my first client, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, ladies, I was nervous. Okay, so my first model was my sister. You know, right after I got my certification from the lash class, she was my first model. So I did her lashes. It was cool, you know, but it's a lot easier. Like, I was a lot more relaxed because that was my sister. You know, so I was like doing her lashes and whatnot. But when you get that first paying client, y'all, I was nervous. I was having a panic attack. I was like, I hope she like her lashes, you know. Of course, I was taking a long time. Yes, I was taking a long time. I think I took about almost 4 hours on her lashes. You know, she paid me. She liked them, you know. But for me, for being my first time, y'all, I was so nervous. My hands were shaking. The best thing about us doing lashes, y'all, is that the client eyes are closed, so they don't know what you're going through. They don't know, like, you having a little panic attack behind them. I was just like, let me take a deep breath and let me finish this. But once I got done, y'all, I was so happy. I was so happy, y'all, once I got done. But I'm just happy that she liked her lashes. But like I said, y'all, it took me about 4 hours to complete that full set. I still feel like it could have been a lot better, you know, because I could still see like little spaces throughout her lash set. But over time, I got better and better and better at doing lashes. But my first client, ladies, it was a mess. Like, it was a mess. And then I didn't even have a lash bed. I started doing lashes on a sofa. So that's literally how I built my business, y'all, was on my grandma's sofa. And people were cool with coming to me doing my lashes at my grandma's house. I just feel like people don't really have a problem with them coming to your house, but you got to make sure the energy is right. You got to make sure that it's welcoming, things like that. So, you know, people are laying down, closing their eyes, and getting comfortable with you. So you just make sure that your clients is comfortable when it comes to them getting their lashes done. But y'all, my first paying client, that was a mess. I'm not going to even lie. And I was so happy once I got done. You obviously going to have to, you're not going to always be ready as a lash tech, but you're going to have to prepare yourself. And how you prepare yourself is by getting ready. You got to just start. And then once you that first paying client or that first real person, you're going to actually know after that what you need to work on more, or what you're struggling with as a lash tech, so you can actually get better at your craft. Because on a mannequin and then the real person, it's totally two different things. So my first paying client, y'all, that was a mess, but I did her thing. She liked the lashes. Like, she still liked the lashes. That's all that matters, right? That's all that matters. She liked her lashes. So when I really, really like felt like my lash business was starting to take off was the year 2017. So it was like 1 year to me actually getting into the lash extensions. I feel like 2017 was a good year for my business. I had just in my LLC. I had just got my EIN, just got my bank account for my business. I was actually setting myself up the right way as a business owner for my lash business. So I always had the little entrepreneur mindset back then, but nobody really told me on how to do things. I was just really Googling everything on how to get the LLC, get the EIN, get the bank account. I was really just Googling it on how to actually start a business itself. It was the year 2017 that I really felt like my business had started to take off. From there, I was just making sure I had everything set up properly, like the LLC, the EIN, and that's really where I was like, okay, I can see something. I can do this full time. I can really actually start to do lashes for real. Like, I had clients. I had 13 clients a day. Like, be in the shop from 8 a.m. to almost 5 p.m. Like, it was that long. Like, literally all day, like a 9 to 5 for real. So 2017 was the year I felt like my business are actually started to take off. And then from there, I really just been doing lashes ever since. While I was in college, taking clients after my classes and taking classes in between my classes, like it was crazy, y'all. That's the year my business had really actually started to go up from there. And then eventually, I had to get a trademark for my name, Meets Lash, because the first name that I had, which was Lash Junkie, somebody ended up trademarking that name, and I had to change it to Beauty Junkie. And then from Beauty Junkie, I decided to let me just change it to Meets Lash. So I went ahead and got the trademark for the name, so nobody take my name. Just started to protect myself and my business a lot more, because once I started to do lashes, I just felt like a lot of people were like copying me, and you know, they were inspired by me and how fast I grew my business in a way, y'all. So I kind of had to kind of like actually take this a lot more seriously, which is start to protect myself, like from the LLC EIN to the trademark. I was just making sure I cover my tracks and help my business, because I have this idea and I have this vision on where I want my business to be at. But I don't want nobody to copy me in no way either. And I don't want nobody to try to, you know what I'm saying, do the same thing I'm doing or take my name or anything like that. So I want to take the extra mile to protect myself. So that was another thing that I did in 2017. But when I did the trademark, I didn't actually get the trademark, I think, into 2019. So the trademark takes a little bit more longer time to actually trademark the name and whatnot. But once I got the certificate, y'all, I was so excited. I was like, yes, nobody's going to be able to take my name, this, that, and the third. But yeah, so it's a process. So when you actually get into the lash industry, y'all, or you decide that you want to actually start your own lash business, just make sure you protect your brand, protect your business, protect what you're actually creating, because you never know. Somebody may either copy your name, copy how you're doing things. Just protect yourself and your business. So now it's the year 2025, and I'm still doing lashes, y'all. Like, I've been doing lashes my whole 20s. I have, ever since I left Family Dollar, y'all, that was legit my last job ever, and I've been doing lashes ever since. So right now, I teach people how to start their own lash business. I teach people how to start their own product line, how to just actually get their business off the ground running with their lash business. So I'm very passionate about lash extensions, y'all. That's my passion, is lashes. Like, you know, I was dipping and dabbing in other things, but right now, y'all, lashes is my thing. I can talk, I can eat, sleep, breathe lashes all day and don't get tired of it. I help people start their business, and then I have my clients that I do on a daily, and then I also sell products as well. So if you are interested in starting your own lash business, y'all, make sure y'all check out the description box below, and I can still help you guys start, build, and grow. Just join the academy. I love lashes. This is literally what changed my life, as you guys can see. I file taxes, I get business credit, business loans, all through lashes. If it was not for lashes, y'all, I don't even know what I'd be doing or where I'd be at. Like, marketing is cool. I got my degree in marketing, but lashes is my thing. Like, I'm very passionate about that, y'all, and I can see myself doing this for the rest of my life. This is a high income skill, so I do feel like once you perfect it and once you actually master the technique, this is something that can really change your life if you actually take it seriously. Run it as a business. Don't really run this as a hobby. That's another tip I'm gonna give y'all. Don't really run it as a hobby, because you are leaving a lot of money on the table if you are out here just doing lashes as a hobby. Like, it's cool to make money with lashes, but it can be cooler if you made a lot more money by having it set up in structure as a business. So yeah, if you guys ever thought about starting your lash journey or wanted to become a lash tech, I would love to help you guys get started. My online lash academy comes with weekly mentorship calls and 2 certifications, so the link is below to join if you are interested. So yeah, that's literally how I started my lash business, y'all, literally from nothing. So if you're thinking about starting your lash business or you're already doing lashes, y'all, just know I know exactly where you are at, and I know exactly what you're feeling like. I was unsure, I was scared, but I definitely took a chance on myself, y'all. And now I get to wake up every day doing what I love, which is lashes. So definitely start the lash business, y'all. And don't compare yourself, and just keep going. Be consistent. Over time, y'all, your hard work is going to pay off. So just be consistent, put in the work, and make sure you are practicing those skills, y'all. That is what's going to make you guys stand out in the lash industry. If this inspires you, or if you're ready to start your lash journey, I got you. You can join my online lash academy, get certified, and get one-on-one mentorship. I put the link in the description box below so that you guys can check it out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this video. And also leave a comment in the comment section below, y'all, and let me know how your lash journey is going so far, or if you're just getting started. I'll be cheering y'all on, okay? So in the meantime, between time, I'll check out in the next video. Mwah. Bye, y'all.